Entitled cousin being a lazy douche. This is my first post, doesn't matter but just letting you know. Backstory, my cousin is 20 years old and already has a kid, but with his financial situation, he has been living with my aunts, his mum, house. You may feel bad for him, but, trust me, he is a complete douche. He has dropped out of school at the age of 16, 17, to be clear, he isn't diagnosed with anything that affects his ability to think straight. By that I mean right decisions. On to the story. This isn't a story, but a series of things he's done. These are not in order. Ed, entitled Dad. When Ed got his son, first thing he did was complain about the head size of his son. Ed's son's head wasn't straight. Here in Australia, if you don't vote, you are given a fine between $20 to $200, and Ed being a douche would rather pay the fine than vote. He also failed to show up to his own mum's birthday simply because he is too lazy. Yesterday my uncle retired from the army after being in it for 26 years, and Ed chose to go to a friend's party instead. There's much more he's done, but it would be a long list. Edie and the chocolate bar. So when I was 10, my cousin had one of those fundraisers at his school where kids sell chocolate bars, turn the money in, and get a crappy slingshot or potato gun in return. I had a couple dollars, like $3, and asked my mom if I could buy a candy bar from my cousin. We lived with my uncle, Ed, and his 3 Tasmanian devil children at the time, and when Edie saw me buying candy, he lost it. Edie, what are you doing? Me, my mom said I could buy a chocolate bar. Edie, and did you buy any for anyone else? Me, no. Edie, if you buy something for yourself, you have to buy enough for the whole family. Turns out he was pissed because he either had to tell his heathens no or buy $3 worth of sugar for kids not in preschool. It was obviously my fault. He yelled at me and called me selfish all day for spending my money as a kid. And then he drank his paycheck. Crazy lady demands other people's children follow her own rules in our house. This isn't a long and exciting story, but at least it's a true story and I'll write it out exactly how I remember it. When I was a kid my mom had this massive bitch of a friend who me and my siblings lovingly called Melissa Poop Pants because she once got so drunk at a family barbecue that she shit her pants. It's a dumb nickname, but we were little kids, so it was funny. So one day my parents had a family get together for the 4th of July or another holiday I think, and they invited a couple friends including Poop Pants. Growing up my parents never bought any sweets including soda, unless it was a special occasion and this was a special occasion, so we had a couple cases of soda in the house. My relatives were the same about soda, because it's the Mormon norm, so every kid in the house took advantage of the soda. Apparently Poop Pants had a strict rule for her daughter and refused to ever let her drink soda no matter what, so she was left out. Poop Pants came into the kitchen and snatched my 7-ish-year-old sister's soda can out of her little hand and dumped it down the kitchen sink in front of her while chastising her because if my daughter can't have any then you can't drink any in front of her. She spat out a whole lecture that I can't fully remember, but I do remember that she only singled out my sister for some reason and made her cry. My sister of course went and told my mom, and she was furious. She yelled and argued with Poop Pants until she finally just told her to leave and never talk to her again. My mom blocked her on everything and ended their friendship because this was the final straw of her bullshit. She's done much worse in the past but this is the only entitled parent moment of hers that I witnessed. M tries to steal my hammock. This one's gonna be a long one folks. My family moved into this house about 2.5 years ago. One neighbor, very nice people, welcomed us to the neighborhood, so right off the bat we know people weren't too social, which we didn't think anything about since mostly older couples live here. A few months after moving in my sister leaves for college leaving behind most of what she owned. However before she left she said we could take whatever we wanted from her stuff. I went through some stuff and took a few things including my sister's hammock. The house came with a playground with a swing set, so I removed the swings to hang the hammock. The hammock lays parallel to the fence we share with our neighbors. After using the hammock a few times I noticed that when I would lay in the hammock the neighbor's children would sometimes stand by the fence and watch me while I lay in the hammock. I didn't think much of it since I could just close the hammock and forget they were there. Later in the year it got way too hot to use the hammock, and the glue holding the velcro to close the hammock melted off. Once it cooled down a little bit I started using the hammock again, this time not being able to close it this time. After a few days M saw me through the fence and approached to talk to me. Right off the bat she said, "You should give that to me." Startled I asked, "Give what to you?" M, "The hammock." Me, "Why?" M, "You've been using it way less lately. My girl's birthday is coming up, and she loves your hammock." I refused her request, and went in with my day. The next week the little girl she was referring to was with her friend, and broke my fence trying to see me in my hammock. I was mad, but didn't say anything about it. The next day I caught her trying to crawl through the hole in the fence. She had a pair of scissors in her hand, and was clearly trying to take my hammock. I yelled at the girl, and scared her half to death, and as soon as I yelled I saw M run inside, leaving X stuck in my fence. I watched as X scratched her arms up escaping. They stopped bothering me after that incident, and I patched up the hole. They're moving out, and I remembered this story and thought I should share.